Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a topic that is absolutely exhilarating. And honestly, it's kind of terrifying too. We're looking at the rapidly approaching future of brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs. Basically, we're exploring what happens when the literal bone walls of your skull are transformed into a transparent window. We're going to unpack the wild implications of a world where our inner silence might actually come to an end.
So, I want you to start by just imagining this direct question. What if computers could literally read your secret thoughts? Just picture a reality where silent, light-speed synaptic decoders are constantly working in the background, bridging the gap between your brain's electrical impulses and digital text. I mean, what happens when the biological signals bouncing around inside your head can be instantly translated into code for a machine to read?
To really wrap our heads around the magnitude of this shift, consider this quote. For the entirety of human history, the internal monologue has been our ultimate safe haven. Really think about that for a second. The final sanctuary of absolute human privacy hasn't fallen to some authoritarian regime. It hasn't been conquered by a physical army. The human mind has just remained completely untouchable. Well, until now. Which brings us to Section 1, the ultimate safe haven. All right, so up until this exact moment in human evolution, the mind has been the only place we've ever been truly entirely alone, completely free from anyone else looking in. I mean, think about all the things we hide in our minds. We harbor fleeting doubts, radical creative concepts that we just aren't ready to share yet, unvarnished criticisms of the people around us, and, our deepest hidden ambitions. We currently hold all of these things with zero threat of external exposure. But the moment advanced BCIs and machine learning language decoders enter the picture, your silent thoughts stop being private whispers. They become a continuous, highly searchable, and highly monetizable data stream.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 2, Velocity of Pure Creation.
Because look, it's not all terrifying. To understand the whole picture here, we have to look at the massive upside, which is literally an incredible superpower. We are talking about a staggering, vertical leap in personal productivity. Let's look at the old way of doing things versus the new way. Old way, your brain has an idea, it sends a signal to your fingers fumble across a keyboard, and eventually the text pops up on a screen. The new way, direct thought to screen. Writers, media creators, software engineers, they're no longer throttled by physical limitations. Just imagine being able to close your eyes, visualize the entire narrative arc of a cinematic script, and just watch the machine populate thousands of words onto a terminal in a fraction of a second. It's like magic.
And that totally leads us to frictionless automation. By completely bypassing our physical vocal cords and finger coordination, managing complex digital networks totally changes. It shifts from this grueling chore of clicking through endless tabs to a fluid exercise in pure intent. Imagine wanting to cross-reference data channels or, say, optimize a massive global supply chain. The connected system executes your command the exact moment the realization flashes across your prefrontal cortex. Literally, the moment you think it, it's already done. No lag, no friction.
Let's move along to Section 3, the filtered expression paradigm.
Now, when computers can decode the raw, unfiltered processing of your mind, the fundamental rules of human society undergo an irreversible transformation. Just look at the stark contrast here. We are moving from the era of filtered speech directly into the era of decoded neural streams. Take social dynamics, for example. We currently live in this very diplomatic world of polite lies, curated expressions, and controlled reactions, right? But in a decoded neural stream, social dynamics become intensely volatile. Your fleeting judgments and subconscious biases, they become completely visible. Or look at the legal realm. Proof goes from circumstantial physical evidence and witness testimonies to deterministic proof. We're talking direct neural retrieval of your memories and intents. We are essentially trading friction and diplomacy for absolute, unvarnished visibility.
Which brings us to Section 4, Capture of the Subconscious.
And honestly, this is where things get pretty dark. What happens when the random, chaotic background noise in our heads is suddenly commodified? Because, let's be real, our brains are not perfectly ordered machines. They're naturally chaotic engines generating all this raw neural static. We're talking dark passing thoughts, temporary flashes of irrational anger, bizarre anxieties that just pop up out of nowhere. These are things we would absolutely never choose to act upon in reality. But here's the kicker. The technology doesn't inherently know the difference between a passing intrusive thought and a genuine intent.
Now just imagine corporate advertising networks getting their hands on this raw neural static. Picture yourself walking past a physical storefront in the real world.
You experience this totally subconscious, fleeting pang of low self-esteem about your appearance. Instantly, your spatial computing feeds are flooded with hyper-targeted advertisements designed specifically to exploit that exact, unspoken insecurity you felt just a millisecond ago. Talk about an invasion of privacy, right?
So the really crucial point here is how this extends way beyond marketing and straight into societal control. If hyper-vigilant security algorithms get access to this data, the whole concept of justice could bend toward a dystopian framework called pre-thought prevention. You wouldn't just be flagged for a crime you committed, or even one you were actively planning. You could actually be flagged by systems evaluating your neurological patterns to determine your statistical probability of future noncompliance. You're literally being judged by the raw, chaotic math of your brain activity.
All right, let's wrap things up with Section 5, building semantic firewalls.
To survive in a world without cognitive walls, humanity is going to have to adapt in a big way. For the modern thinker and digital builder, the standard workflow is about to undergo a massive pivot. Right now, we mostly focus on managing external distractions, putting our phones on silent, blocking websites so we can focus. But the new workflow? It requires actively governing your own internal landscape. It demands extreme mental discipline. Mastering your own mind will no longer be just some philosophical ideal for monks. It's going to be a baseline requirement for survival in a digitally connected society.
And because we are biologically chaotic creatures, humanity will literally be forced to invent semantic firewalls. We're going to need to build advanced software protocols designed specifically to sit right between our biological brains and the digital network. These firewalls will be tasked with intercepting your raw brainwaves, filtering out all that erratic background noise of the human animal, and ensuring that only the thoughts you consciously approve are actually broadcast to the machines. It's the ultimate convergence of biology and technology, essentially working to protect us from ourselves.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly profound question to consider. If your thoughts were broadcast tomorrow, would you survive your own mind? As we sprint toward a future where our inner silence is fundamentally broken, it challenges all of us to examine our current mental discipline, the chaotic static we let run wild in our heads, and how ready we truly are for that transparent window to open. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time as we continue unpacking the ideas shaping our future.